Where did my parents go? My mom didn't answer when I called about dinner. When Dad's phone went straight to voicemail too, I drove to their house to check on them. Their cars were in the driveway, but nobody answered the door. I used my key and found everything exactly as it always was. Coffee cups in the sink from breakfast, and my mom's reading glasses on the kitchen counter. Their phones were on the dining room table, both dead. My chest tightened with the wrongness of it all. Their bedroom looked normal with the bed made and clothes in the closet. Nothing was missing that I could tell. Their suitcases were in the basement and their passports were in the drawer where they always kept them. My dad's wallet was on his dresser with all his cards and $300 cash inside. Nobody leaves their wallet unless something terrible happened to them. I called the police and they sent someone over who walked through the house and said there were no signs of forced entry or struggle. He said adults are allowed to leave without telling anyone. When I explained that my parents would never just vanish, he shrugged and said to call back if they didn't return in 48 hours. I wanted to scream at him that something was obviously wrong. My mom was supposed to work that day, and when I called her office, they said she hadn't shown up or called in sick. My dad's construction site said the same thing. Neither of them had ever missed work without notice in their entire careers. The fear was making it hard to breathe. I went through their computers and found nothing unusual. No strange emails or messages. Their social media hadn't been touched in days. The last text my mom sent was to me 3 days earlier about a recipe she wanted to try. Everything in their digital life just stopped at the same moment. The neighbors hadn't seen anything unusual. My parents' best friends hadn't heard from them. Nobody at their gym or church or book club knew anything. It was like they'd just evaporated in the middle of their normal routine without telling a single person. After 48 hours, the police took a missing persons report, but said there was no evidence of foul play. They suggested my parents might have needed a break from their lives. When I told them my parents had been happily married for 30 years and loved their jobs, they said you never really know what's going on. I wanted to throw something at the detective's dismissive face. I found their cell phone bill and checked the last calls. Nothing unusual except for one number I didn't recognize from the night before they disappeared. When I called it, I got a disconnected message. The phone company said the number had never existed in their system, which made no sense because it was right there on the bill. My hands were shaking as I hung up. Their bank accounts hadn't been touched. No credit card activity. Their medications were still in the bathroom cabinet, including my dad's heart pills that he needed daily. The refrigerator was full of fresh groceries with receipts from 2 days before they vanished. They'd bought ingredients for a week. I stayed at their house hoping they'd come back. Every time a car drove by, I ran to the window. After a week, I went back to work in my own apartment, but I stopped by every day. The police detective assigned to the case said he'd seen situations like this before, where people just decided to start over. I told him my parents would never abandon me without a word. He said trauma could make people do unexpected things, but when I asked what trauma, he just shrugged and closed the file. 3 weeks passed with nothing. I hired a private investigator who found no trail. He said it was like they'd been professionally disappeared, but without any of the usual reasons. They had no debts or enemies or secrets he could find. Just a normal couple who'd vanished from their normal life. Then I noticed something odd in their house. A photo album I'd looked through 100 times as a kid was missing several pictures from summer 1999 when I was 2. The empty